Welcome back to another episode of Saw It in Theaters, where this week, on Throwback Theater Thursday, we revisit Signs, 2002. Saw It in Theaters together.
First one I saw at that theater.
It was a brand new theater. I was on the Shyamalan train when this came out. If you don't know Signs, living on a rural farm in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, their lives and the world are about to change forever. I mean, if they didn't already, when they're going through a tragedy. This film stars Mel Gibson, Joaquin Phoenix, Rory Culkin, Abigail Breslin. It's about the family recovering, especially the main character Graham, and him dealing with losing his faith as a reverend. Let's talk about this movie.
Let's talk about it.
So this is I wouldn't say an every year staple in my house. I do try to watch this movie frequently. I very much enjoyed it in 2002. I saw Sixth Sense in 99. I saw Unbreakable in 2000. I love The Sixth Sense. Unbreakable I didn't enjoy as much when I saw it in theaters, but then after I rewatched it a few times, I was like, all right, I get it. I did like it. I liked it a lot. And so this movie, I was so excited to go see. I was so pumped for this. And it didn't disappoint me then. Did it disappoint me this time around?
Keep watching to find out.
Hello. There's a little teaser for you. I was so pumped for this movie. And afterwards, when it was on DVD, I watched all the extras and all the... Oh, man. What? So let's talk about some of the good stuff with this movie. The score. James Newton Howard knocked this one out of the park.
Wasn't too much. It definitely wasn't too little. You get a lot of that nice tension-building sound to a lot of this movie.
Yeah.
And it really helps, feel it in your gut, in your chest.
One of the most masterful things that Shyamalan was able to do, especially early in his career, was hold that shot long enough. A movie like The Conjuring, not that these are similar in any sense, but that it holds that shot, and Mike Flanagan does it. Haunting of Hill House and Bly Manor is that he holds those shots, and it gives it the tension. It's not just a quick bam, bam, bam. Especially early in his career, I felt that Shyamalan did that really well, and I felt like he did that really well in this movie.
You get a lot of those close-up shots of their faces.
Where they're talking directly into the camera. Always a calling card of Shyamalan's. Joaquin Phoenix is 6 years old in this movie. What a bad. I think, again, going back to those tension... They find the crop circles first around their house. Daughter Bo wakes him up out of his sleep, and even that's it's just that gasping breath. Oh, let me go get the kid the water. And speaking of, she leaves the water throughout the house throughout the whole movie. I know if this was reality, I'm fine because my kids love to do that. I'm looking at you. She's talking to him about their mother, her mother, or his wife. It's a tender moment, and it's kind of a peek into what, how he's lost his faith, because you have the shot of him coming out of the bathroom earlier after brushing his teeth, and there's the spot where the cross used to be on the wall.
Was she a smoker?
And you get that little peek of the monster on the roof, or the alien on the roof. You get some playful moments, and I thought that the characters in this movie did really well playing off each other. Mary Jones, even though she's not in a lot of this movie, I thought she laid out some really good emotion for setting
such a smaller role and not having... She had a fair amount of lines when she was there, but like you said, she really did push some of that through.
And then comedy, too. I don't know any girls that can jump like that. And she's like, I don't know, Meryl. There's Scandinavian women in the Olympics that can jump clean over me. There's just those playful, fun moments in this movie. And I think Shyamalan has tried to do that in a lot of his movies and has not been as successful in finding that voice more recently. I mean,
you only get tidbits of the monster throughout. Yeah. I like that about this movie, that you don't really see them that much until the end. Yeah. It's a lot like Cloverfield.
Like Jaws.
And this is a movie about these aliens coming to Earth to take over, essentially, but you hardly ever see them.
I think it's impactful, and we can talk, a little more in depth, because this movie's over 20 years old, so... God.
22.
I don't know about you. There's that quick cut of one on the roof.
Yes.
There's the little bit in the field where it has the flashlight. That's
the
such a good moment. And that's not a CGI leg. There's a beat, and then you get the score. Oh my god.
There's a lot of intentional or not, like little jump scares throughout the movie, and even if you don't physically jump, which I did a couple times, you get that internal one.
If they go into town and they see the man who killed, the mother.
Yes.
Not intentionally. But still, you know how painful that has to be. And how do you forgive somebody for that? The whole point of this movie is a religious movie to a degree. It is a War of the Worlds.
Kind of like by the end of this movie. And it's all about him rediscovering his faith.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the whole undertone meaning of this movie. Learning to believe like in God again or something.
And then you get the moment with them coming back from the town. This movie, again, they just spend most of the time on the farm, and they have the one scene where they leave, minus when Graham leaves to Ray's house. There's the walkie-talkie, and they all start climbing the car, and it kind of just makes a believer out of all of them, even though Graham is still reluctant to believe. And
Morgan says that the baby monitor being up higher is what's making it more clear, but I think that the whole thing there was
the
them
connection?
being connected. Again?
So, no, I'm not doing that.
When all four of them are connected physically on the car with the baby monitor, that's when you get the clearest signal, and they hold that.
Yeah.
And you get some of the signal coming through. You hear them,
Because the progression of the stuff happening throughout the story, that's just outside. It's connected to the family, but it gives you the overall view of what's going on with the world. There's the crop circles. There's the lights that appear. That party scene.
There was the birthday party.
The birthday party scene for me is one of the best scenes. Shyamalan, I believe, shot that himself. Because I believe Tak Fujimoto might have been the cinema. All the people in that scene, again, are just extras, essentially.
Yeah.
But have such an impactful... It's chaos, and you're trying to see because it's not a clear vision. And again, that's just the testament to what my man was able to do in this movie. And you're like, where's the alien? And then
you kind of catch yourself physically trying to look around these kids, but you can't because you're not there. It's on the screen.
Vamonos! I think Meryl has such a great reaction. A testament to Joaquin Phoenix's performance in this movie. He was in a few little odds and ends and Gladiator, and he had started to get big. And then, he'd go on to do Walk the Line and stuff like that. His reaction, when he just goes back into the coats and, covers his mouth. I can talk about this movie all day.
Some of the acting, the delivery of the lines were a little stiff. And I have to wonder if maybe they were written to be a little stiff.
Well, that's my big bugaboo with Shyamalan.
Yeah, you get that with Shyamalan, Ray, whenever he's not driving for family.
Oh, and time out. My man's got a problem behind that wheel. So he killed the wife, the mother, right? And there's two scenes of him driving outside of that. One is when they see him in town, and he sees them, and peels out. Skirt! And then the other scene is when he calls Graham over to the house because he's locked one into the pantry, which is a great scene. Talking to Graham about it, and he's apologizing and all this. And then he peels out on him, too!
Kicking rocks.
He's, right at the window. Come to my window.
How many glasses does this town have? Because all of them, one, are the same glasses.
In the bookstore.
In the bookstore and the house. And two, they had to have bought all but the two that's at the bookstore.
And I'm a little disappointed this movie came out post 97 or 95 and they didn't have the Batman glasses. At moments the dog gets killed.
I mean, there's that too. At least you don't see it.
Yeah.
But you hear the second one. You see the aftermath of the first one. Houdini with the second one.
Now you see him, now you don't. I know this movie gets a lot of hate for the ending.
I can kind of see that.
I really didn't have a problem with it. I didn't have a problem with it a long time ago. I think that he uses a little restraint there. I mean, you do see the alien at the end, and the CGI is a little
wonky.
It ain't that 97 Spawn, though. Don't come for me. I said what I said, but I didn't say that it was a bad movie because of the CGI. It sucked, but the movie just wasn't that good. It wasn't entertaining to me. It didn't make me smile. It didn't make me feel the warm and fuzzies on the inside. We could fight about it or not. You could hit like and subscribe, and we'll talk more about it.
There's a scene early in this first half of the movie.
You had me in the first half.
Houdini has a little accident in the kitchen, and older dogs are wont to do that. And they take him outside, and then Graham starts to clean this mess up. He grabs a few paper towels. First of all, that's not enough paper towels. He grabs like 3. I don't care if anybody who's ever what.
It ain't the quilted quicker picker upper.
Second of all, he's wearing like an oven mitt or something for whatever reason, and then he goes to clean this mess up, and he's holding the oven mitt up here, like a glove kind of thing, and using his bare hand to wipe up this pee. I mean, we could probably...
Oh, I have something that I want to say, that I want to commend. So when they made this movie, I think they just made it on an empty property.
Oh, yeah.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, again, those DVD extras, which is why you should own physical media. Well, you had to watch it on streaming. Sorry. I don't practice what I preach. I've lost my
Sometimes.
I think that they grew all this corn kind of like on the spot, and the way they did it, they accelerated it so it would actually be like full stalks of corn. Right. They built the house there like it wasn't a real thing.
You don't get that these days. You don't get those physical on-location set pieces like that. But I say that, you got Oppenheimer that just did that out in the desert, built that whole community.
Well, no one's a different beast. Well, everything relies so heavily on green screen.
Everything is the best CGI you've ever seen. The worst CGI you've ever seen.
I'm looking at you, Spawn. It can't be more expensive. It can't be.
It can't. So much money on CGI, especially nowadays. Like, you've got Deadpool and Wolverine. That was a $200 million movie. Probably $100 million of it's because of the CGI.
Those movies are justifiable.
Yes.
Those movies are justifiable. When you want to blow up a car, I don't need the hubcap to come flying, ricocheting off the wall and then hitting the camera. I don't care about that. Just blow up the damn car.
Yeah,
Let's get into the scores.
Let's do that.
Let's get into the
Let's do it.
Before I get angry.
Let's go.
This is a throwback Thursday. Let's fucking go.
Thoroughly enjoyed this movie when we saw it in theaters in 2002.
Talk to me.
We rewatched it last night. I still thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I got all that tension, and I got, the suspense of it, some of the staleness aside. I would score this movie now 8.5.
Good score. Solid score across the top. See, I really enjoyed this movie then. The Sixth Sense is his best movie. Gonna be tough to top.
Yes.
Signs is a very good movie. To me, maybe you disagree. I don't know. This is just my opinion.
Everyone's got their own solid opinion.
I think the emotions of it, I think the performances in this movie, I think the direction of this movie was all A+. 9.9. 8.9 out of 10. I think for me that's high praises. Have you seen Signs recently? I'm actually kind of curious, for the M. Night Shyamalan movies that you've seen, where does Signs rank? Signs, what did you think about it? Did you like it? Have you watched it recently?
Did you see it in theaters originally?
That's more what I'm at here. Let us know what you thought right there.